Many things besides the price of the good affect how much of a good consumers want to buy. Here's an incomplete or partial list of some of the other determinants. The price of substitutes, the price of complements, the incomes of consumers, the expectations consumers have about future incomes or price, taste. To an economist, taste means the intensity of desire for the good. When something is in fashion, tastes are high. When something's out of fashion, tastes are low. And finally, the number of consumers or the size of the market. A change in something other than the price of the good that affects the quantity demanded will cause the demand curve to shift. A shift in the demand curve is called a change in demand. Let's do an example. Let's talk about the demand you have for soda when you go visit the beach. When the day's relatively cool and price of soda is high at $3 a can, you may be willing to buy one can. At a lower price, you may be willing to buy two cans. If price goes over $1, you might say, hey, it's pretty cheap, it's hot, it's the beach, I'll buy 4 cans. Now what happens when the temperature rises to 100 and it's really hot? Well, if the price is still high at $3, instead of buying 1 can, you may be willing to buy 3 cans now because your taste for the product has increased because it quenches your thirst better on a hot summer day. Similarly, when price is $2, you might be willing to buy more than before. Instead of buying 2 when the price is 85, you might buy 5 when temperature is 100. Finally, the price is $1, and at low temperature, you may be willing to buy 4. At the high temperature, you might be willing to buy more. This table illustrates a couple of relationships. First, as the price falls and temperature is constant, the quantity demanded increases. The quantity demanded goes from 1 to 4 when temperature is 85. The quantity demanded goes from 3 to 8 when temperature is 100. It also shows that when price of soda is constant, the quantity demanded rises as the temperature goes up. The quantity demanded goes from 1 to 3 when price is 3. It goes from 2 to 5 when price is 2. And it goes from 4 to 8 when price is 1. We can plot the demand curve when temperature is 85 and the demand curve when temperature is 100 on our graph. If we do that, we'll get 2 different curves. The blue line is the demand when temperature is 85. The red line is the demand when temperature is 100. You can see that the increase in the taste for the product has shifted the demand curve to the right. Holding price constant, people want to buy more Coke at the same, holding price constant, people want to buy more Coke when temperature is 100 than they do when temperature is 85. When a change in one of these variables causes the consumer to buy more, the demand curve shifts to the right. More has an R in it. Think of that as moving the curve to the right. A rightward shift of the demand curve is called an increase in demand. If the change induces consumers to buy less, then the demand curve shifts to the left. Left starts with L, left starts with L. A leftward shift is called a decrease in demand. The following table summarizes our predictions. We've got a column for the change, the effect on demand, and how the demand curve shifts. If income increases and demand is normal, demand will increase and the demand curve shifts to the right. If income decreases and the good is inferior, demand increases and the demand curve shifts to the right. Price of substitute good increases, demand increases, the demand curve shifts to the right. And as the price of a complement good decreases, the demand increases and the demand curve shifts to the right. Taste goes up, expectations of an increase in price or an income increase, or the number of consumers or size of the market increase. All of these will tend to increase demand and shift the demand curve to the right. We get opposite effects when the demand curve decreases and the good is normal, then the demand will decrease and the demand curve will shift to the left. Here's some other things that decrease demand and shift the demand curve to the left. An increase in income when the good is inferior, a decrease in the price of a substitute, an increase in the price of a complement, or a decrease in taste. Two more things will decrease demand and shift the demand curve to the left. If people expect a decrease in price or income, and as the number of consumers or the size of the market decreases. A good is normal when consumers tend to buy more of the good as incomes rise. Most goods are normal. A good is inferior when consumers tend to buy less of the good as incomes rise. Here are a couple of possible examples. Ramen noodles for college students. If you get a raise, will you start eating more ramen noodles? Or will you start buying fewer ramen noodles and more mac and cheese and other more expensive types of meals? Second example might be bus rides on the GRTC. If you got an increase in income or a raise, would you ride the bus more, or would you drive your car more and ride the bus less? Whether goods are substitutes or complements depends on whether the demand for one of the goods increases or decreases when the demand for the other good increases. The goods are substitutes if the demand for one good increases when the price of another good increases. Examples might be Coke and Pepsi. When the price of Coke rises, people will tend to buy less Coke and buy more Pepsi. These are two products that people tend to buy either one or the other. They don't tend to buy them together. Two goods are complements if the demand for one good decreases when the price of the other good increases. An example might be razor blades and shaving cream. Razor blades and shaving cream are things that tend to be consumed together. If you buy lots of shaving cream, you tend to buy lots of razor blades and vice versa, which means when the price of razor blades goes up, you may start buying fewer razor blades, and as a result, you'll also need to buy less shaving cream.